Hello there! My name is Oddimus Prime, and welcome to another exciting episode of Transformers 84 to 24 40 years of rolling out, which in the 40th anniversary of Transformers, we look back at each year of this incredible franchise. As always, I'm joined by the amazing, the indomitable, the Deadpool Christmas jumper wearing Primetime Moff. Hello, Moff!
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah, it's a good day. I'm
We're in the
tired.
Christmas vibes, eh? It's coming
It's
up to the time. Can't
it's
wait.
definitely getting that way. Both in Christmas jumpers, which wasn't planned, which is amazing. Anyway, so back to the preamble. So we are now at a point where we decided that for the last few years of the series, we're going to combine, pun intended, several years worth of stuff into one episode. So this week we are doing the Prime Wars Trilogy, which spreads out over 2015 to 2018. So it's over 4 years. So we're going to do that all in one big lump. And then next week we'll do the War for Cybertron trilogy, and then we will do the Legacy trilogy, and that will take us right up to 2024 and the end of the journey. Whether or not it will get published before the end of the year remains to be seen. But anyway, so today we are having a look at the years 2015 to 2018. Now, we have in the past spent quite a long time on a 1 year. So we're going to skirt over a lot of stuff with this and concentrate mostly on the toys, but we will talk about a few other bits. Starting with the media. Mr. Moff, would you like to talk us through the television?
Yes, I spoke previously about Transformers Robots in Disguise cartoon holds a very special place in my heart. Um, it, it might not be the best cartoon, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. So we had through this period, we had the kind of remaining of season one, season two, and season three. And obviously toys to match. And I know we'll talk about the toys, but I could have probably done a big spiel on Robots in Disguise, the cartoon. When I was telling Jamie that we were recording this era, he was like, "Can we do an episode talking about it?" So at some point, I think Jamie and I will do an episode talking about Robots in Disguise because I
That'd be
think that'll be
awesome.
that kind of good fun. But the interesting piece at this period is that we have some kind of cool other aspects happen in this time. But in TV wise, in the year 2016, there was three different Transformers cartoons out there. Not all on TV because one's not really on TV. But you had Robots in Disguise, you had Rescue Bots, and then you had Combiner Wars. And it's just a bit mad to think at one point, we didn't have any cartoons on. There has been points where there hasn't been a cartoon, and then at this you have three different media supporting three different toy lines. So, and that these three toy lines aren't even all that's out there. Obviously, we know that the toy lines go crazy during this period, but to think that you've got Robots in Disguise aimed for that kind of probably young adolescent kind of era. You
Mm.
get Rescue Bots aimed at proper kids, and then you get the Combiner Wars. Then Titans Return and Power of Primes were more aimed at the collectors. That's that range of toy line is in that. So the cartoon is or the animation. It's not really a cartoon, is it? It's more an animation.
Mm.
But you have three different animation series out there aimed at three different demographics, which is a bit mad. Like
That
it
is
really
mad.
is when you think about it.
Yeah, no, it's bonkers. I mean, rescue bots, as we've spoken about before, it's not really it's not aimed at us. I've heard some decent enough things about it. It's
Yeah.
just I've never I've never had the opportunity with a child who would appreciate it to watch it, and I've never fancied just sitting and watching it
No, I
myself.
agree.
So there's that. Robots in Disguise, I do need to give another chance to, because you keep saying it's great, and I haven't got very far on it. And the Combiner Wars, I think I watched Combiner Wars, and then I don't think I watched the other two parts of the trilogy. Um, and there's more of it than I thought there was.
Yeah, because there is the three parts to go three.
Yeah.
eras, which I think is really good. I think that helped. I know, obviously, in the next set we'll talk about the fact that Netflix did it. Was this Machina? Is that right? Is that how I'm pronouncing it?
Machinima. It was, yeah,
Machinima.
Machinima used to be,
Um,
but
and
it's still there.
I don't know if I am one of these glass half full type of people. I am just glad when we get new Transformers cartoons. I am very glad when we get Transformers cartoons with characters that I really want to see media of. So, for example, like Overlord,
Hmm.
through these three, like that was my highlight of the three of them having something with Overlord in it. So, I think they are better than. I think people go in with a, I want it to be here. Transformers is very rarely here in media
Hmm.
terms in the nicest way. It's very rarely here. So if you get here, then you should be happy. Just be glad we don't go to the bottom. And that probably relates to the movies. I know. So what we said was we're not going to go into the movies, which is good because 2017 and 2018 have movies.
Yeah,
Like, which that I was like, Bumblebee's not 2018. And I
I
was like,
had
oh
to
no,
double
no.
check it.
Yeah.
It was
So did
bonkers.
that.
But I suppose last night was summer 2017 and
Yeah.
Bumblebee was like December 2018. I think
Which
some
was
it
a
was the
weird
date of the
thing. Why was
yeah,
it released in December?
don't know. But
I, I,
yeah.
I will tell you a quick Bumblebee movie story, not about the actual film, but Jamie and I went dressed as bumblebees, like not as in the animal, as the actual robot. So I had the adult Bumblebee costume, and he had an RID one, and the staff at the Odeon were so impressed. The gate. These are the things that you do something nice for my kid. I always think that's amazing. It just sticks with me. And they gave him a free bucket of popcorn because they're like, "Yours are just the yours are." We were buzzing going into it. To be fair, it was just like Christmas time. I took him just himself, and we went out. We went for food, and then went to that, and they were like, "Oh, yours are just amazing. Can we give you something?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay." And they gave him a bucket of popcorn, and he was like just living on that for so long. And it was there is a wee bit you kind of get to this. Oh man, it's not as if I'm just getting in and getting dressed. I'm wearing the Bumblebee costume out for food, which was just sitting in the car to be fair. But then walking through a shopping centre to go to this, but there's just some freedom of having that. But yeah, so the Bumblebee. The other one during this time, and I'm not going to talk about. I wouldn't talk about the other cartoon that launches in 2018, the Cyberverse. I think we'll talk more about that in the next couple of the next episode because there's more of it in that episode. But the other cool thing that came out there during this period was Devastation, the cell
Yes.
shaded video game. Thoughts on that?
I really liked it. I really liked that it was I was gonna say it's like the Sunbow cartoon, but it really wasn't. Um it was cel shaded animation, but it was a different kind of style. It looked amazing. I was awful at it. I really, really sucked at that game. The sort of the play style did not suit my play style. My play style is being rubbish at computer games. Um, so I don't think I ever finished it, but I did really enjoy it. It was really nice having all the decent voices, and seeing all the characters and stuff that you know and love in this wonderful, wonderful cell shaded style. And it sort of kicked off the whole cell shaded repaints, which was more of a third party thing for a long time, and then they eventually
Yeah,
pulled it over into mainline. But yeah, it's a really really good, really nice thing, and it's the sort of game that you wouldn't have expected to get.
no.
Um, so yeah, I really liked it.
I think things like that always feel like a love letter to G1 rather than
Mm.
being having to be slavishly G1. It's like a love letter to it. It's very, very heavily G1 inspired with its own wee twist to it, like that cel shaded aspect. And I like, especially like video games that kind of do that. There's quite a few games that I like that are in that kind of style. So, no, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And my play style was similar to yours. But I found it kind of challenging at points. And I think there is that kind of game is always going to have a bit of repetitive beat 'em up. That's the
Yeah,
the,
yeah,
the challenge to the kind of games. But see for just being able to switch on and play through it without any stress when, at that point having the wee fella on the go, I found it really enjoyable.
yeah.
And we've not had a game of that caliber since.
No, no, I don't think so. I do want to very briefly touch on the last night, and I'm going to save my actual story, which I keep saying I'm going to talk about, for when we do an episode on it. But I will say that in 2017, I went to the cinema and saw a film that I thought was the best Transformers film that was ever made. And we're going to leave that there. Right. Let's move on.
Okay.
It's all right. It's a teaser for when we do the film
Yeah,
episode.
that's good. I'm into that.
Comics.
Yeah, some cool ass comics. So we're obviously covering a massive period of time, so we're not going to go into everything. But I thought it was worthwhile us having some notable
Mm,
points. So one of the big ones that a lot of people picked up was the Hachette artworks came out during this time. It's a really good way to collect the complete collection, and I really regret not doing it myself. I wish I had. I do keep stealing Greg's and reading through. He's reading them in order. I'm reading them in. I want to read that story, so I just grab specific ones. Um, and I think if that opportunity was come up again, I wouldn't
yeah.
miss out on it. And I know that there's rumors of a compendium coming up of the original G1 stuff, and I think I'll buy it because I don't want to miss out again on an opportunity. And I do have like some of the original Titan stuff, but that was I know that a lot of people enjoyed that, and I know there's obviously still people trying to resell them and
Yeah.
that point, but it was a cool point in time.
I know when they came out, there was a few printing issues, and there'd be like pages printed the wrong way and other things like that. So people, and this is sort of around the time that I was spending a lot more time in the Facebook groups and stuff like that, and this is lots of people whinging. But forget that. It was an amazing set. I only have a few copies, all of which were given to me by Simon Furman when I was buying things off of his store. He's like, "Oh, here, have a free copy of this," because he was literally just giving them away because he had loads of them.
Yeah.
Because he's Simon Furman, and of course he would. And I suppose if you're Simon Furman, you don't want to have an entire house filled with boxes of free Hachette artworks.
And do you know what's really interesting? Is he clearly never got them all because he went and picked up ones. He picked up ones at TFN this year
Yeah.
that he was missing, which I think's. Imagine you're selling stuff that Simon Furman likely wrote. Just feels but bizarre. Also, would you take his money? I wouldn't. I would have been
No,
like, just
no.
take it.
I think he probably got given loads of the first few, and then they sort of petered off. Saying, "Nah, I don't know." I thought, "Oh, Simon."
Yeah, yeah.
So what else have we got there?
So the other ones that I took of note, Lost Light kicks off. So that's
Hmm.
the kind of follow on for More Than Meets the Eye. I do think at some point I would love to do a proper in-depth conversation about that series. We have the incredible James Roberts coming to TFUK Con. He might be the guest I'm most excited about talking to.
Hmm.
We know my love for More Than Meets the Eye and Lost Light. I picked up at TFN his journal, the additional kind of journals, with the intention of I'm going to reread it again in the new year and reread it with them at the same time. So that'll be a really enjoyable period. So I think it'll be good for us to chat about that at some
Hmm.
point. But I just thought it was worth noting. We also have two crossovers at this point, or two launches of alternate franchises coming
Hmm.
into IDW that I found very exciting at the time. So you had Mask, kind of kicks off with Revolutionaries, then goes into his own wee bit. Seeing Mask in the kind of shared universe with G.I. Joe stuff, I thought was brilliant.
Hmm.
I remember at the time thinking, oh, are they finally going to paint one of the movie Optimus Primes in rhino colours? And no, they are not. The other one,
It'll happen one day.
I know the other one I really was excited about again, and are they going to do something with this? Was Transformers and Visionaries. Like when they're letting the license go out and stuff happen, I'm thinking, going, oh, we're going to get something new with Visionaries. And again, no, we're not. Um, I can but hope at some point these. I think we know Mask is getting some toys this year, which is sorry next year, which is going to be incredibly exciting. I would love Visionaries to come around as well, just because I think that'd be really cool. But I don't know if it'll happen. And then finally, another aspect of the Wreckers, just a one-shot Requiem of the Wreckers, which maybe wasn't as good as the other stuff, the kind of proper Nick Roche stuff, but it was still a decent wee little read. So that was my kind of highlights of comics during this 4 year period. Not to say there wasn't many other fantastic comics, but again, you could, especially for a 4 year period, we could do any episode on those comics really. And
Yeah.
so I just picked my favorites.
Yeah, no, that whole crossover thing was really cool, and mention it in toys probably. But they did have that San Diego Comic Con
Box set.
crossover box set. That was pretty special.
I suppose I forget that was in the update of Visionaries because they had toy that is it in it, didn't
Yeah,
they?
they had Leoric,
Like I was
but
saying,
it's
I was like
basically
Lionheart, but I'm like, it's definitely not Lionheart.
had him as like it was more like a GI Joe figure. They had him and they had Matt Tracker
Uh,
in
which was a
GI Joe
re-release
figure
because I had
style.
that. I had that. I've got that Matt Tracker when they first did it.
Mm. They
It's a
had
figure
different
that
head.
I parted. What did they?
Yeah,
Oh
because
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he's
You did it. Yeah,
he's
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's
Yes.
not
So
one hair.
yes, right. Let's move on to the main event. I think there were some toys released over this 4 years.
There's a couple. Shall we? Let's see if we can do this.
Jesus.
I'm going to read out every single toy line. Let me zoom in on this
I've,
so I can
I've
actually
got
read
work
it.
in the morning, Simon.
Yeah. It's fine. I'm just going to read every single toy line that came out in each year. So starting in 2015, we had Robots in Disguise. Start again. Robots in Disguise. We had Generations. We had Timelines, Authentics, Rescue Bots, Hero Mashers, Masterpiece, and Creo in the Hasbro stuff, and then a bunch of Takara stuff as well. I'm not going to mention the Takara stuff, otherwise we will be here all night. In 2016, we had Robots in Disguise. We have more Generation stuff. Generations in 2015 and 2016 is Combiner Wars for the most part. And then we had Timelines, which is the fun publication, uh, the botcon
Was it a
stuff,
subscription
the subscription
service or was
service.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
More rescue bots, some more masterpiece, and a few other bits and bobs, plus a load of Takara stuff. So actually, that wasn't too bad that year. Uh, 2017, we had Last Night movie stuff, RID again, more generations. So that would have been Titan's Return, Rescue Bots, Authentics, some more of the Authentics line, more Masterpiece, and a boatload of Takara stuff, and movie masterpieces. The first movie masterpiece
Yeah.
figures came out that year. And in 2018, we had the Bumblebee movie toys. I completely forgot that Bumblebee was in 2018. And then we had Parallel Primes, Cyberverse, Studio Series, Authentics, TF Vintage, which is a Walmart exclusive line, Robots in Disguise again, and Masterpiece movies. So yeah, a
We
fair.
also had the first couple of Siege toys
Oh
from the War
yes,
for Cybertron, but we're kind of just ignoring that fact.
yeah,
We're going to
we're
lump
pretending they
them into
didn't
the next
exist.
one. But just in case somebody goes, oh well, by the way, you missed one in 2018. I thought we better just at least mention it before we completely ignore it.
Okay, now there are obviously far too many amazing toys during this period to talk about. So what we've done is kind of like what we've done in the past is we've gone for some top figures. We've got some top figures and we've got some honorable mentions. But we'll talk about our top ones a little bit more in depth. But we'll have a quick, actually, if we do our honorable mentions now, that
Yeah,
won't be too
I'm up
much
for
of
that.
a spoiler. Plus, I don't have pictures of those, so I don't have to share my screen yet.
Yeah, no, I'm cool with
Um,
that.
so we'll go for honourable mentions. Mr. Moff, do you want to talk about your honourable mentions?
Yes. So, some kind of funky ones just because they are like totally funky is the Serpentor TF Club exclusive, which was it the Scourge mold that was repainted
Yes,
into
Generations
Serpentor,
Scourge. Yeah.
which was kind of based more on the kind of make version that was in the comics, which was really cool. Um, the first time I remember people really trip building, which was a Titan's Return No, people genuinely had zero or a bunch. Like it felt like it was properly going for it. Still a great wee figure, very vibrant colours, and it just was there was plentiful. Very quick one. The whole birth of primetime toys was around this era, and it was based on, it was Greg that obviously the birth of primetime toys, based on the Titans Returned Fort Max, the exclusive one being available in A1 Toys in Glasgow, but they wouldn't ship it anywhere, and it was like 50 quid. And he offered for a price, he would go and get them and ship them to people. So he was going and filling his car with them, and then it got to a point where he just decides to say, "How many have you got left?" And he invested in them, sold them on, and then that experience made him go, "Oh, actually, mine didn't cost me anything because I used the extra feathers to pay for mine. I could do that with the rest of my collection." And then they have printing toys. So a very, very quick version of it, but I thought it was kind of cool. I haven't picked one of these, but RID brought back Minicons, and I wasn't an Armada Minicon type kind of fan, but I loved these Minicons. I think because I was buying them with Jamie as well. They were so, some of them were just so funky. You
Yeah.
then had the power up ones with a wee bits of armor and stuff on them, which were so cool. And then you had the Minicon deployers, so you've got like a drift, for example, that
Oh
shoots them at
yeah,
the
I
thing.
forgot about
Just
those.
dead clever. Great, great wee bots. Like the RID line was such a fun toy line. I know actually there's another point that was they also did a funky. So we always have combiner wars during this pit time, but they did combiners, but they did them in a really clever way, crash combiners.
Oh
So they
yeah.
hit them together and they put the combiner stuff for RID was the point where Jamie was so into Transformers. All his Christmas stuff was RID Transformers. I was like, I'm into this. Let's just buy all the Transformers. Great fun. Um, Silly things like we talked before about like the activators and stuff, and how I love a little simple gimmick. I love something that's a kind of play for toy. The best toy that RID did for that, that just was so simple and so good, was the one step changers. And it was the fix it molds, probably the best mold of all. You just literally push it down, transforms, dead easy, really good fun. And it's Jamie's favorite toy. Like he always sitting playing with it. Like I think I'm on to a third for him because it's just been played with so many times, which it does just wear because naturally it's going to wear. So that was always a good one. The really cool one that I did not realize was as cool as it was for a number of years. And it's a toy that only real serious Optimus Prime collectors have. You know, the top tier Optimus Prime collectors have this. And it is the Optimus and Megatron Pretender set. Obviously, you'll have it as a top tier Optimus Prime collector. Oh no, that's right. You don't have it, do you?
No, I don't have it. No.
I've got it. I've got
Oh,
it.
have you got it? Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What
You
I
never mentioned it.
what I didn't know until maybe a year ago was that the Megatron was a repaint of the Grand Max Pretender shell.
Hmm.
That comes Grand Max. That blew me away. Not that I'm going to repaint it to do it to that colour because that's crazy, but I just thought it was really cool. They are both. They were the first and only real proper Pretenders I had for the longest time, and I just thought they were absolutely great fun. The other one that we're not going to talk. Neither have picked one of these as a favourite, but it's just a kind of fun period. Was BotBots. Like BotBots are stupidly addictive. They're like that year's blockies. Like BotBots were like, I need to get these the kind of mystery ones in them. I
Yeah.
remember going to get them when we bought a couple of packs and they went to Costa, me and the two boys and my wife, and it was opening through, and I'm like, oh no. But it's like, I was like, I need to go buy more. These are stupidly good. So they were good fun. And then the final one is something that I have always got on my desk. Again, talk about Pretenders. Never Pretenders were never a thing I enjoyed, but like see the little Prime Masters.
Yeah.
I just love these things. I don't know. They're just so cool. Like I wish they'd done the full sets of them. I'm happy with what we got. And I bought a pile of extra ones because there used to be a Shapeways store that did shells for the other ones.
Hmm.
They were like 40 quid a piece and I just couldn't. I bought these thinking at some point, like the extra ones, thinking at some point I'm going to go for it. I never ever did get them. Well, I did the mini Grand Max one, but Prime Masters are great fun toys. Anyway, these were my honourable issues because it was hard. I picked 10. I could have picked more. I thought, let's just chuck in some honourable things that are more the gimmicky things rather than really kind of strong bots. So that's my honourable mention. Yours
I,
is a lot.
So, I actually intended to have more honorable mentions, but I obviously got distracted earlier and have only actually written one down. So, if I can actually remember anybody else, that would be a minor miracle. But one of the ones that I really, really liked, Red Studio series come out around this time, which was is an amazing line. Some really, really nice figures. I always had a bit of an issue with the Optimus Prime, the first one they brought out, because they had that weird dark grey plastic for half of it. So it was just really like muted and didn't look really, considering they're supposed to be like screen accurate, it just looked really odd with this really dark grey anyway. But Blackout, oh, such a good figure. So nice. Surpassed now by the masterpiece one, which I don't have, but the uh, leader class Studio Series one was fantastic. Um, Other than that, I can't remember. So we'll just move on to our to the next. Oh, do you want to go on to third party stuff?
No, or if you want to do third party before I do top tens, I'd cool with that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So again, I've kind of tried to pick. That's the point where third parties obviously came right into its own at this point. We're seeing more companies come about. So over this period of time, there is a pile. So I've just kind of picked my highlights for each year just to kind of run through some of them.
I added
Uh,
two in.
yeah, I was thinking that when I was looking at my list, going, remember that. So um, the ones that I have still got and still love, like KFC Transistor, I think that blasting. But if I've got the kind of metallic one and there's something about it I just really enjoy. Um, Fans Toys, Bombshells, the Grenadier. I love the Insecticons, like love the Insecticons. I had it was the only set of like kind of mini parts of a line that I ever had the full of. I had the three Insecticons, so it's just something about them. Bombshells always been my favourite, so I love that. Make Toys with their Capola. This was kind of 2015 toys. They then bring it Iron Will are bring two outstanding toys, and eventually they will bring their brainstorm out eventually. For the aspect of amazing kind of records, you have MMC Spartan, which is just an outstanding looking toy,
Love
but
MMC
it
stuff.
kind of is too big for Chug and it's too wee for Masterpiece. There's still just there's it's just a weird scale. So it's only kind of issue with it. Do you add the next one?
I did. I added Fans Project Madlaw, which was the Fans Project version of Quick Switch. And I added him specifically because he was my first third party figure.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, I think I got him. I got him a bit later than that. I think I got him off of somebody in the groups, quite cheap a little bit later on. But yeah, he's a really, really nice looking, nice transforming, lovely thing. And I always liked Quick Switch when I was a kid. My mate had him, but he was just like so much more dynamic than the
yeah.
G1 version, and it was lovely. Anyway, carry on.
Excellent. 2016 sees, I don't know if I said my favourite third party toy. It's in my top 10 toys of all time. Never mind just being top 10 third party. And it is the MMC Carnifex, their Overlord. I absolutely love Last Stand of the Records. That Overlord in that comic is just sublime. And Carnifex brings that to life like nothing I've ever seen. Every time I pick the thing up, I still get that wow factor. We got one traded in a year ago, and I was like a child opening it, like so excited. Craig's like, "You've got that?" And I was like, "I know, it's so pretty. Look at it." So I absolutely love the the other one I would say around this time that was fantastic was the Perfect Effect upgrade kit for the Combiner Wars. So
Yes.
all my Combiner Wars combiners all have the upgrade kit for the better feet and the better hands,
Yeah.
just because the hands and feet were a bit guff that came as standard. The hands were okay. Feet were the things as hands were okay, but as feet they were small, not stable enough. These were big chunky feet to make it to the
Yeah.
point. So that was a big one. Have you added the thing below that?
I
What
did.
that is?
I added G Creation Ultra Maximus, who is I remember seeing pictures of him before it got released. and like preview images, and it was like, this is amazing. It's just such an amazing looking IDW style, but also really anime kind of style.
Yeah.
Optimus Prime and the robot mode looked incredible, and the truck mode looked incredible, and I wanted it so much. It's the first um, third party toy I went to get as soon as I could, um, and then I tried to transform it, and I nearly threw it out a window. It's I love third party stuff. It always looks absolutely incredible. I hate transforming third party stuff for the most part, just because it's so wonderful for the most part in both modes, but that means a complex transformation that is way beyond what a regular toy should be. And I like transforming Transformers for fun and for fiddling and whatever else. Most third party stuff, once I've got it into robot mode, that is where it's staying forever. And it's the whole reason why I will never buy a studio cell, because
But,
panel tab nightmare.
and do you know the funny bit is my next mention is a third party toy that's an absolute joy to transform. It's just so clever and works really well. So you're saying that, I'm thinking, going, there's an irony to this, and that is Fans Toys Phoenix, which is just a lovely, lovely bot. It took me a long while to hold one. It was one of the first toys that we were selling when I started helping Greg out, and he's like, just put it in your desk for a wee while. It's like, you know what you're doing. You evil man, you know what you're doing. This is not getting sold. And that one was never sold. It's never my collection. So Fans Toys Phoenix was a fantastic. I have a love for Skyfire, so I do have the Masterpiece. And I do think the Masterpiece is better than it, but I actually think the Phoenix is more enjoyable transformation
Mhm.
than the Masterpiece. So that it kind of goes against everything you've just complained about.
I
But
don't know.
in the most part, I do absolutely agree with you. The vast majority of third party are not as fun to transform as Hasbro Transformers,
Yeah.
but they're also far more expensive and complex.
Oh, yeah. I mean, let's face it, third party toys are not meant to be played with. Hasbro toys are supposed to be played with, and that
Exactly.
way you've got the playability with them.
And I think that's the kind of when you're looking at your what you're buying, the collection you're buying, that's the way to look at it. I think that's the right mindset. Like I buy a transformer, as in a real transformer, to transform it. I'm generally buying a third party either for an amazing op mode or display either an amazing op mode, sorry, or to display in an amazing robot mode. Third party generally, or even masterpiece, generally provide the best representation of the character
Mm.
in all or robot mode. Hasbro cannot be beaten for making fun Transformers. Like they've been doing it for 40 years, they know how to do it. But something whenever you do a Transformer, I don't know of a Transformer that's perfect in robot, perfect not mode, and is a fun transformation. There might be close in three, but that's a hard ask to get all three of them. There are
Yeah.
some really good that do it, but there's always something limitations. So anyway, so moving on to more third party. So other ones will knock out. So we've got MMC's Coulter, their Tarn, which is absolutely gorgeous and has been on my
I
long
had him.
list for a long time.
You know him? He was the first third party figure I pre-ordered, and he turned up just before Christmas. Got him from Kapow, and I hadn't paid for it. The I couldn't afford it, and the invoice came out, and I didn't pay it, but that they sent it by accident. So I messaged Andy and was like, "Dude, you sent this to me, and I haven't paid for it. I can pay for it in a couple of weeks." He's like, "Oh yeah, no worries. Just chuck us some money when you've got time." And I was like, "It's cool. I'll
Good
keep
lad.
it in its box to one side." And he's like, "No,
Yeah.
open it. That's a great toy." I was like, "Okay." So
Yeah,
yeah,
so that's always been on my wee list. I don't know why I never got it to time because we were saving for having another baby. That ruined my life.
uh,
And then we have Fans Toy Sovereign, their Galvatron, which is an absolutely stunning. And I'm shocked that Fans Toys decided to do a Galvatron 2.0. It's certainly of all the figures, it's one that I don't think needed 2.0, but anyway. Then we move on to 2018, and the kind of first Legend scale toy I ever really got, and he is kind of Legend scale, maybe a wee bit bigger than Legends, but Hearts of Steel Bumblebee, which is Hot Soldier's Centurion. Some more excellent fans toys from this period. Fans toys Dracula, so they're mind white. Fans toys Hydra, they're six shot. Both outstanding figures. And then the really cool thing, Oculus Max stacks to do the slightly, oh, not slightly, the bigger masterpiece scale cassette bots, but they're like real cassette size, which is really kind of cool. In my opinion, they don't scale with anything, so I don't have them sitting beside any day, but the Frenzy and Rumble and Fury and Riot. So that was my top picks from the third parties over this period. So, and it is a challenge because it's at this point, third party is rife and there is some absolute crackers. And I can't wait for the next couple of years. I'll get some even better figures.
Yeah, the other thing I just remembered is that Coulter Tarn is really easy to transform as well. So completely ruining my own. Um,
But there's always exceptions, and there's exceptions in all aspects. But on the most part, I think you're right. Third parties are pain in the tits to transform, but that's not why you buy third party in the nicest way. Like anybody that says they're buying third party because they want to enjoy a transformation, I can appreciate a transformation of stuff like the X Transbots. This is the total digress. X Transbots in Fast and Fury. No, yeah, Fast and Fury.
mm.
They're what would you call them?
Run about, run amok.
Yes, they are a bit fiddly, but they're so clever at some of their transformations and how they get two very similar looking bots to transform in slightly different ways. I really enjoyed that. So yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry, we'll move on.
Yes, right. I'm gonna do that. Hey,
Hey.
look, I did a thumbnail that doesn't look quite so big when it's all made big. Ha ha ha. Right, so we're gonna move on to our top tens, which we're going to go through reasonably quickly and not talk for half an hour again about each bot. And they're in the order you put them in, but I can't remember which order my ones were in, so this will be a bit of a surprise for everybody.
You're first. You're first.
I know I'm first, but what bot it is another matter entirely. So let's go. Hey, there we go. It's Masterpiece Star Saber. Um, I remember being really excited about this coming out. They did loads of preview images in on all the sites, and there's like preview videos and stuff. And I just really, really wanted it. I had no love for the character particularly, but I love how he looks. I love the idea of this sort of samurai-esque giant robot dude who was a headmaster and a power master and whatever. It was brain masters, wasn't it? That they were. Yeah, and it just looks incredible. And it was a fun bot to transform.
Was yeah.
And the only issues with it were that the ratchets in the arm were weak sauce. And doing that pose would last exactly 3.5 minutes, and then his arms would just slowly move to his side
Yeah.
forevermore, and you end up with the sword sort of limply hanging from one of his wrists, which is a shame. I think there's third party sort of ratchets and stuff that came out
Yeah, it was.
to sort it out, but yeah, it's a terrible picture of him actually.
But
Yeah,
that's a great toy, and it is
so fun.
that is an example of a masterpiece feeling like a toy and feeling
Yeah,
fun, and that's not rare because it happens. It does happen a good few times in masterpiece, but that was a toy that I had no concept, as you say, like the character stuff. Didn't
mhm.
know, wasn't really convinced. It was a steal at an auto assembly, and it was the highlight of auto assembly that year. I was just like, this is great fun. Like,
Yeah,
so happy to have it. So yeah, no, absolutely
it's
brilliant
really
first
meaty as well.
choice.
It's
Yes.
really meaty in both modes. It's well, all three modes. It's a great, great toy. Right, let's move on to yours.
Talking about great toys, talking about toys in my top 10, RID Drift Warrior class. This mold is genuinely one of my absolute favorite things I have. Every version of the mold, or every coloring of the mold, bar the Japanese version of the original one. I have like three of this. Every time I see it, I pick it up. Just, I think it's such a nice transformation. It looks really cool in both modes. There's just something about it. I absolutely love it, and I do like Drift the character even more so the one that's in this cartoon. But I absolutely, honest to God, love this mold. Even looking at it now, I'm just like, I want to go and take mine and transform it because it's just so. And the cool thing, we never talked about this, but the RID have on their insignia, they then have got a circle round about it with symbols, and that in a really cool way, specifically like for that age group, linked to a video game kind of on the tablets that unlocked stuff. And Jamie just was like, "This is great." And the really cool thing was you could stand in the toy shop and scan them. Basically the toy shop and scan them. So he was like, "Oh, let's just scan him. Let's scan." It. So a very clever idea, concept that was, well, I wouldn't say a bit ahead of its time, but that would still be a cool gimmick now.
Yeah, no, definitely. I did have a few of the RID figures. I had Bumblebee. I think I had. Did I have Drift? I think I had Drift. I didn't have them for very long. I know that much because I didn't really gel with them. I had Grimlock. I had him. I had Jazz that I actually bought off of Thew. Um, yeah, but they're lovely figures. But what I was really surprised about with the ID line was that there's so many of them. So many of those figures.
Really cool repaints as well.
Yeah, and exactly. There's all the repaints, and then there's all the different. There's so many different lines and sublines. I just was surprised at how much stuff
Yeah,
there was for RID.
yeah, it
Again,
really was.
because it sort of bypassed me a little bit. I don't think I paid it enough interest, which is a shame. It really is deserving of another look, and I'm going to. So there.
Good.
Next. Oh, now I think we've spoken about this before.
Gorgeous.
It is absolutely bonkers, gorgeous loveliness, and I absolutely adore this toy. It is a repaint of Generation 2 Laser Prime, has all of the gimmicks intact. They all work just as well as the original one. But it just has this absolutely bonkers um, paint job. Absolutely bonkers. It's all chrome and then sort of bronzy kind of metallic plastic for the rest of it, and the rest of it is just transparent or pink. It's amazing.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's so fun, and it all lights up, and it's just a stupid, bonkers, lovely replay. Is it Year of the Horse? Year of
You
the
know the
something.
goat?
Go, yeah.
I think it's you know the goat.
Year of the
I think
something.
it is.
I wrote it down
Yeah.
earlier and I've forgotten which year of the thing it is. It's one of the years, year of the something. But yeah, I love that. I have
Aye.
that way more intact than the original one because that one is intact and my original one is missing all the bits. But I just love it. It's
It
just
is one I would love to pick up. I've seen it once, but I had it in my hand going, oh, I just couldn't justify it at the time. But I think it's one I would pick up if I could get a chance now.
so much fun. Right, moving on. Oh look,
I picked up Bumblebee, like, seems bizarre. I picked up Bumblebee primarily because this is Jamie's favorite ever toy, like favorite ever Transformer toy. And we both have a copy of it. He bought me a copy of it because he knew that he's like, you should own this. This is great. So he bought me a copy of it, which I think just makes it even more special. Um, all of the RID Warrior class are really kind of nice, fun Transformers in terms of they're easy, simple transformation. Some really clever bits in them. Um, the head sculpts on the RID Warrior class are really nice as well, really kind of bring
mm,
character to life. So this is it in kind of more black than yellow, and I just there's something funky about it. But the fact that it's Jamie's favourite and then he bought me one makes it that bit special for me.
that is really cool. Yeah, I had a Bumblebee, not the Night Ops one. But it's got a really fun, and that's the other thing. This line is just so fun.
It's
All the gimmicks, the transformations are nice and simple. They're not too simple, but
no,
they're simple. And despite the that picture, they do tab together quite well as well. Which
yeah.
that picture
No,
is
that picture's not great, but
that's
yeah,
not
you're right. They do tab together nice, and they have a aesthetically looking,
yeah.
nice looking alt modes as well as very like good looking robot modes.
Weapon storage as well because his sword fits underneath him. They're just really nice figures. And if you haven't experienced any of the RID stuff, they're worth picking up, even if you don't have any any care for the show whatsoever. Just grab. They're really easy to get hold of, and they're really cheap. Just get a couple and play with
Yeah,
them. They are
yeah.
absolutely
They,
gorgeous toys.
I at a TFN 22. And I was spending the time with Greg and Paddy was going to be, and you were away, and the Sunday. It was only Greg, me, and Jamie, and we went and bought like a couple of the RID stuff. That I think Jamie had some of them, but
Mm.
we were like, we were going to teach Greg that this is a good toy line. And even Greg was like, he joked with it, hey, where's my video? Where can I watch a video to transform this? Because we joked Greg doesn't transform his toys. But he was impressed with how intuitive they were, but how fun they were transforming. So
Yeah,
that speaks volumes for them.
very much so. Right, let's move on. Aha! I picked an RID figure. Um, Obviously, it's an Optimus Prime. I picked this for a few different reasons. First and foremost, I really love this. It's sort of Legends scale subline that they did. Um, One of many, because they had the little tiny ones, and then they had this
Yeah.
sort of mid-scale one that they're smaller than the Warrior class but bigger than the Legends class. And they were really really nice figures. But also these ones, they came in a two-pack with a minicon and that wonderful dragon axe that he's got there. You can pull all that apart and it becomes armor. So you stick it all over him. He's got all these cool armor pieces and swords and all the other sort of stuff going on. He just looks awesome. I love transparent plastic on anything, and this sort of awesome orange transparent plastic all over him. He's awesome. And another reason I really like him is that he's the same mold as Jeffrey Prime, who I
Oh
recently got hold
yeah,
of.
so
And
it is.
yeah, so yeah, it just goes back on my shelf there. Um, yeah, great figure. And again, it's another wonderful thing about the playability of this line. They're just fun. Snap-on armor on a figure
Good,
is just always something I've always
yeah,
enjoyed.
good choice, good choice.
Let's see what you've picked next. It's an RID figure.
I know it's another ID figure, and again, this is one that is probably the affection from Jamie that makes me love him more. But this one was really cool. So it's RID Sideswipe, the kind of warrior class one. But the fact he's kind of got tattoos and he's just a bit of a punk, and it's a very fun toy. Clicks together really well, looks really cool, and the character was good fun in the show. Like he was an annoying kind of adolescent, but one of these ones that a bit like Hot Rod.
Mm.
He starts to have a bit of no, I need to do the right thing. I need to be responsible for things and evolve through the series. Sideswipe is Jamie's favourite, so the kind of character wise, so again, I think I have that bit of a love for him. I brought it up for myself. I did buy a Sideswipe for myself because I just thought it was cool. Car mode is sleek. Yeah, that was my next choice. That's the last of our idea, I promise.
What's funny is that I hadn't really twigged before, but everyone's got melee weapons.
Yeah,
They've all got swords and axes and whatnot. There's no blasters, which is kind of cool. I said last week I was not a fan of Sideswipe's design. In fact, I probably would have been happier if he was Hot Rod with
yeah,
that design.
yeah.
But again, we're in an era where clinging on to who you think a character should be because that's where they were in G1 is long since gone. So yeah, but again, that figure had an awesome transformation. I'm pretty sure I had him as well. Saying I never had any of these figures, I had quite a few of them. Um, and it's growing on me actually. I don't mind that weird hairstyle thing going on. But yeah, the tattoos on it, it's a great little figure. Anyway, moving on. Ha ha! Okay, so we have moved into Prime Wars Trilogy figures, which will probably dominate most of the rest of what we're going to talk about. So I'm going to take this quick opportunity to just quickly give an overview of Combiner Wars, and that is that it was awesome. I remember when they were first sort of showing the figures and first showing that you had all these deluxe class figures that combined with the Voyager class to do these wonderful combiners that we were really excited for. And then the news broke that they'd appeared in Smith's Toys, and this was sort of December-ish of 2015. So it was before we were expecting, and they'd appeared in the shops. So I suggested to the missus that perhaps we needed to go to the shops, and went down and grabbed a couple that just happened to be there, which was very exciting. Um, but anyway, let's talk about Viper. What do you think I like about Viper, Mr. Moff?
G.I. Joe crossover, and I agree.
Exactly. It's a Cobra Rattler repaint of Powerglide. Um, it's a fantastic figure. It's lovely. It's
It
got a little
is.
Cobra. It's got the Cobra Rattler symbol on his chest with the Decepticon logo in the middle. So it's got Decepticon, Cobra, and then the Rattler um, sort of bat symbol. I'm really regretting not getting the HasLab Rattler now.
Right, move on before you
Yeah,
start
yeah, yeah,
disagreeing
yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
this.
Oh, look.
Yes. So I don't think you can talk about Combiner Wars without talking about the daddy of the Combiner Wars, which was Devastator. This was a toy that I wanted, but I couldn't really justify. It was the first time I properly went to auto assembly with that. I'm hoping to be able to get this, but it's one of those ones where I know I could get it afterwards. So I was like, if I can see other things I want, I'll not get this. Within within a very short period of time, not in the dealer hall so much, but out in the bar, seeing other people with it, I was like, oh baby, I need to get this. And sitting with my wife and my kid, I think this might be the last auto assembly. I think this might have been the last. Yeah, because 2016 would have been we went to Star Wars Celebration, then 2017 was this. So 2015 was the last auto assembly. And at that point, I didn't know if we'd have other Transformer conventions when they announced
Mm.
that. And I remember thinking, going, "Yeah, listen, this is a pretty decent way to spend it." Me and my boy sitting opening up Devastator, and he was just as excited as I was, wowing at it. Yes, okay, there are flaws in it, and we're getting a new one that's going to be better.
Mhm.
This is a stonking toy, big, bulky. s- Just there's something special about it. I don't think I'll retire it. I've got the upgrade kit that I got ages ago to make him into the Prowl IDW style, and I've never done it because I was like, I really enjoy this. Like it's my favorite Devastator toy. I'll now that the Pseudo series is coming, I will now convert it to Prowlistator, I don't know what you call it.
Mm.
But I think I'll keep it on my shelves in another format because there's just something fun about it, and I think that's what Transformers should be is fun.
Oh, definitely. It's such a chunky beast, and all the bots that make him up are just immense and fun, and they're not perfect. They're not perfect
No.
by a long shot. And the Takara having to give them elbows,
Yeah.
and their guns for the back when Takara versions were better. Um, yeah, but I remember getting it, and I just loved it. Um, yeah. Anyway, shall we move on?
Yeah.
Boop. Oh, look, it's another combiner. Two things about this. This is the G2 version of Menasor that came out as a box set with all of the vehicles and was lovely and garish and G2 and a homage to the G2 figure that never was or sort of slightly was but never properly was released. It's lovely. It's gorgeous. The colors are bonkers. It's a good example, actually, of how terrible the hands and feet looked, because the
Yes,
hands and the feet were one. It was a really good idea, but
it was.
Hasbro seemed to be incapable of doing decent hands and feet for combiners. Um, and that's why the third party ones came along. But it's
Yeah.
a great figure. I remember that he was almost impossible to get over here because they skipped the wave with the
Yeah.
Stunticons over here. I had to get him. A guy sold him to me from America,
Wow.
which is nice, but yeah.
Expensive, probably.
I can't remember. It was a long time ago, but yes, definitely.
Kind of funky. I like it.
Yeah, it's good. Moving on. Ooh.
We know my love for IDW, know my love for More Meets the Eye. I love this version of Ultra Magnus. So it's Combiner Wars Ultra Magnus with Minimus Ambus. And I'm not the biggest Ultra Magnus fan. around. But I really enjoy Ultra Magnus in the comic because of just I think he adds value to the comic.
Mm.
This is a really cool toy, a really fun toy. The Minimus Ambus is really cool. Um, just a great toy, great fun Ultra Magnus toy.
Yeah, no, he's lovely. I really liked everything about him. Wouldn't say this is Titan's Return, isn't it? He was in.
Was it Times of Time? I thought it was Combiner Wars.
Oh, it
I
might have
could
been
be wrong.
Combiner Wars. No, no, I could be wrong. One of us is wrong, or we're both
Uh,
right.
I No, I'm sure it's Combiner Wars.
You're probably right.
I'm up for a challenge on that bad boy because I'm sure I was trying to be good and go like two Combiner Wars, like two minimum two of each, so I could try and split it. So I
You're
think that's
probably
Combiner
right.
Wars.
You're probably right. I was probably thinking because of Minimus that he was a Titan's Return because he had a mini dude.
Oh
But let's
yeah, that's a
face
good
it,
point, but I thought it was.
if he was Titan's Return, he would have had a
It's
headmaster.
Headmaster.
Yeah. So yeah,
Oh,
probably combined was you're definitely probably right, and I'm definitely probably wrong. What's lovely about him is he is not a repaint of an Optimus Prime, which is a
yes,
wonderful,
yes,
wonderful thing.
yes.
Um, Always nice when he gets to shine himself.
Agree, agree.
Moving on. Ooh, it's another
Oh,
combiner.
and a
Um,
gorgeous one at that.
I've chosen him for a couple of reasons. Um, One, he came in the box set again, and it's just gorgeous. The
Yes.
colors are popping. All of the parts are sort of repaint, repurpose, remolds of other figures in the
Yeah.
line, but you can't tell that well. I mean, you've got a
No.
brawl from the Combaticons. Superion is obviously Strafe. It's weird because you got a Strafe released singly
Yep.
that was different, not
Yeah.
completely different, but was different to this version of Strafe. Strafe the middle one? No, Strafe's the Jet. Oh, I've forgotten my
Not a
the one in
scatter
the
shot, is
middle.
it?
Yeah, Scattershot. Scattershot's the
Yeah.
yeah, probably. Um, Feel free to correct us, which we need repeatedly. But yeah, the disappointing thing is it is just Superion's midriff. They
Yeah.
didn't do anything different to it, but the all the other bots were completely changed. But the best thing they did about this was that they gave it decent feet and decent hands,
Miles better looking, isn't it?
and of course, Scrounge.
Yes. Yep.
um, which is obviously if you know who Scrounge is, he's a
Am I
character
right
from.
that Scrounge only came in the Western release?
I don't know.
Whatever version's not got Scrounge is the one I've got.
In which case, must have been
So
Jesus.
I think I got the Takara Unite version
Yeah,
because I thought the colours were nicer and at that point I hadn't I still probably don't have the affiliation with Scrounge that I felt I needed Scrounge
no, no.
over a better looking
Um,
combiner in my head.
I remember when I got him, I didn't actually twig that it was Scrounge because I didn't remember who Scrounge was, and then
Yeah.
it got pointed out, and I reread a few bits and bobs here and there. It's like, oh, Scrounge, oh yeah, the one who had the tragic death. Um, but yeah, that was a nice little touch to the comics, the G1 comics. So that was nice. Yeah, lovely figure and best hands and feet in the Combiner Wars series.
Just before we move off, because we're ready to move on to Titans Returns, I think
Mhm.
like you talked about the aspect of Combiner Wars. I remember being so excited at the idea of combiners coming back in.
Mm.
I didn't have any combiners as a kid. I had limbs of combiners. I never had a complete combiner as a kid. So the idea of getting complete combiners was absolutely fantastic. And yeah, there was a challenge that let's give you four of the correct members and then Bob. And then you need to try and get that was frustrating. However,
Yeah, I forgot about that.
that aside, and the crap feet and crap hands, they actually are really good, fun
Mm.
combiners. Like they are they're a clever system to work. They gave us loads. It was in that era where it was like, right, we're going to give you an Optimus Prime, but he's also a combiner. We're going to give you a Skylix, but he's also a combiner. You want a combiner? You want everybody's combiners, and we see that in the next kind of ones as well. I, I don't think that's a bad thing. Like as long as it
No,
kind of works, it's okay. And I think the next series does it better on a whole, in my opinion. But this, I remember being like, oh my God, combiners. This is going to be great fun, and you could do your
Yeah,
own combiner systems. I didn't do that. I did. I want it to be the combiners I had as a kid, but or as I was a kid, sorry. But the excitement over new combiners was amazing.
yeah,
But then we top it the next again year,
yes.
in my opinion.
The other thing I'll say about this is you had the Voyager class series, and you had two Voyager class Optimus Primes. They're making up for Optimus Prime not being about much
Yeah.
the last few years. One was white and not Ultra Magnus or Nova Prime. It was
No.
Optimus Prime and combined with some random Autobots. It's the only thing that these three waves kind of do a little bit ad nauseum is that suddenly everyone's a combiner, or suddenly
Yeah.
everyone's a headmaster, or suddenly everyone's got a little friend. Um, moving on.
So, Titans Return. Titans Return is one of my absolute favorite years of Transformers. Um, there's so many good toys in this line.
So many.
I always wanted Headmasters as a kid, never got them, so I've always had a love for that idea and concept. I didn't. It's not as if I went back and tried to get G1. I've never been a G1 collector. It's never been what's appealed to me. I wanted modern versions of them. This hit such a spot for me, picking up the headmasters. I genuinely could have picked 10 figures from this line easily, and not thought anything of it. I've not picked Fortress Maximus because I thought that's the kind of obvious one for me. Like
Mm.
Max being my favorite big toy. The new version was great. I went with of the fun toys that are easy to pick up and play with, which I probably pick up and transform Titans Returns toys more than I pick up anything else. So I picked the toys that I pick up most often. This mold is just outstanding, like stupidly good. So for anybody just listening, it is Brainstorm. It is a beautiful Brainstorm.
Mm.
One of my other picks is based on this exact same mold as well. Just shows you how good the mold is. It is an absolute stunner. It was the best version of it, if I'm right, was the Walgreens. Well, in my opinion, the best version. I think
Yeah, I
there's
think this is the Walgreens one.
three repaints. I think not complete
Yeah.
because there was a three pack, a
Yeah, there's a
Walgreens,
three-pack one. I can't remember what the other one
a
was.
general one as well, and then there's a Takara one. And the
Yeah.
Takara ones of this, their heads were more like the Headmaster's cartoon, which was clever. And then you actually have an alternative because you have the retro release versions where it was the retro box with these toys in it. Like
Mm.
these toys are stupidly good. Like I look at it now and I'm just like, oh, again, like the drift. I just want to go get it and transform it because it's so clever.
Yeah.
Some of the way the legs work.
Yeah.
This
I,
this
I,
era's toy. Brilliant.
as I say, this mold was reused. Well, we're now fully in the era of the pre-mold, remold,
Yeah, yeah,
remold, remold, remold. Hasbro using the same mold again and again and again, and it's it is what it is. But to get the amount of completely different looking bots out
yeah,
of that mold, the vehicle modes, you can see it a little bit more, not
yeah, yeah, yeah.
completely. I mean, he
No,
does still look like Brainstorm's jet mode, but the
yeah,
back end very much looks like Blur's butt,
yes,
which is fine. And of course, they do all suffer from the bit of parts forming that is synonymous with Blur more so than the others, with
yeah,
the front end becoming a weapon of some sort.
yeah.
But he's a gorgeous figure. He's one of my absolute favorite time return figures. Good choice. Moving
Thank you.
on. I went with a bit of Astro Train. Now,
I nearly picked us.
I, I, I'm not gonna lie. This is a figure that gives me mixed feelings, um, because you had it was Sentinel Prime was the first version of this
Yeah,
mold, and he was weird and bright orange and weird. But you knew as soon as he came out, you're like, ah, they're gonna remold him
yeah.
into Astro Train. It's the whole pre-mold thing.
Oh,
Uh,
I'm forgetting this era was terrible for that. Actually, just
yeah,
thinking
yeah.
of. the Megs and Optimus, but that yeah, they're forgetting that. Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, you had that. But his robot mode is so nice. It's such a spot on Astro Train. He looks really good. His guns are Astro Trainy. He has a similar looking transformation. He's got his the front of the shuttle is his feet, and it's a really and I really loved Astro Train. It's one of my all time favorites. So I was really happy to get it, and then the shuttle mode was also pretty cool. Um, it was a battleship on Sentinel Prime, wasn't it? Rather than the shuttle. But yeah. But so he's got those like cannons and stuff on his sides, and he looks really good. And then there was also a train. But we won't talk about that. It the one thing I'll say about the train, because it's supposed to be a Cybertronian train, not a steam train or whatever else kind of bullet train like he's been in the past. It was a Cybertronian train, and that Cybertronian train does not look unlike the Cybertronian train that Omega Supreme in Energon turned into. So I can forgive it that. And he's just a cracking figure. I love him.
brilliant, brilliant choice. I genuinely was close to picking him because he is fantastic, and I think Astrotrain's had really good toys. Like
Yeah,
the
he really has.
Generations toy was the more so the Takara version, the Unite one, I think it was. No, what was it? Heinkai.
Yeah.
Astro Train, I absolutely still love that thing, the chrome in it.
Mm,
Then the more recent one, again, is absolutely fantastic. So, but
cracking figure.
I agree with the his robot mod's beautiful. So a very good choice, sir. Very good choice.
Thank you. And you have next. Oh, look.
Chrome Dome. I absolutely again. I could easily just pick the kind of main seven headmasters that they redid.
Mm,
There's something good about all of them. They're all something fun about them. Chrome Dome is another one where it's just such a nice, easy transformation. I think it's only got one repaint, but just beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and really good fun. And this was a Jamie's toy of the year that year. Like
mm.
I remember when I got them, he was like, I want that one and that one and that one for Christmas," and he made sure that Chrome Dome was on the list because it just was such a fun transformation. So
Yeah.
that's my next choice because it's just brilliant.
That he is a gorgeous figure. He was breakdown, wasn't it? Not breakdown. Yeah. No.
Get away.
Getaway. Yes, that was who it was. Yeah. Anyway.
But I think he was called. I think he might even called
Oh, he
something
might be
else.
breakaway. That
Breakaway.
might
So he
be
was.
what's
Big on.
confused me. Yeah. Yeah, it was cool. He was cool. He was one of the Transformers me and my best mate bonded over when we were kids because he brought him to school. Anyway, that's a reminiscent for another day. Yeah, he's a great figure. He's a nice, simple, lovely. The deluxe classes in this whole line were amazing. I remembered one of my honorable mentions was Titan's Return, Twin Twist
Oh
because
yes.
so good. Such a good figure. He's so
Yes.
chonky, so solid as his drill tank version. And the robot mode is amazing. I mean, he doesn't do the flippy thing, but and the Twin Twist and Topspin, I always love it when they redo versions of them. They're such good, fun toys. Moving on. Ooh, every day we're shuffling. Um, so I love Shuffler. He was one that we didn't get originally. It was one that was never in the shops when we was trying to get them, and I think I picked him up at TFN, the first TFN that I went to, which I think was the second TFN. Um, he's just so much fun. He's a cool little headmaster dude, and he's got his little headmaster dude vehicle robot elephant, and he turns into a missile launcher as well. That whole like concept of the Titan Masters with
Yeah.
their vehicle companions. Some of them were little cars, which are mostly lame, but his was a little elephant. It's based off of a headmaster elephant thing.
Is it a Headmaster Junior maybe?
Yeah, something like that. I can't remember, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Great wee toy.
awesome. He's so fun. And yes, I spent hours just transforming that little dude. Yeah, moving. on?
Moving on to the point where they started to do difficult to get toys and exclusives, and
Oh.
it's like, oh man, some of them were a paid like the repugnance and stuff, which again you could pick the kind of monster bot ones were just beautiful. The colours on them
Hmm.
and very clever repaints. So this one is a RC, which is a repaint of the Brainstorm mold. I love it because it's a Headmaster RC. So, you're getting that aspect with not Daniel because they didn't have the license to Daniel. So he's Leonard, whatever Daniel is backwards, however you want to try and pronounce it. And I think he came with Ultra Magnus head as well. She
Yeah.
did, I'm sure. Um, this
Diecast.
thing is just, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Diecast. And then one of them came with a diecast Scorponok head as well. Can't remember which one that would have been. Anyway, I think it was
Uh,
Repugnus, maybe Repugnus.
yeah, I think it's
Anyway,
Republic.
absolutely gorgeous. Like, really fun. I love this mold anyway. To then give us Headmaster RC just was like, well done. Like, proper, like, I was so happy to get it. And making it out my probably favourite mold of the line was just bright. So, a proper good RC toy. And I know we've had some other really good RC toys. I think this will always stay my favourite because it's the Headmaster version.
This is the first of. Oh no, no, we had one for Generations, for Brilliant 30, didn't we?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Um, yeah, I paid way too much money for that figure. Um, got it imported from somewhere for some ridiculous sum. I can't remember.
Probably did the same.
Yeah, but all three at this point, I was very much a completionist, so I was trying to get
Same.
everything in the main line, which eventually led to me not collecting mainline anymore because it got too silly. But yeah, great, great figure, and I'm really glad I had one. But yeah, the diecast heads because there was a diecast Ultra Magnus, there was a Hot Rod, and there was a Scorponok. Scorponok and Hot Rod might have came in those big boxes, the Velocitron box set and
Yes,
the other
they
one.
did. They did. Chaos for
Uh,
and Velocitron and
the other one.
yeah. What just again, what a great line. Like absolutely love this era. It is absolutely one of my favorite
Hmm.
lines, but also my favorite times of collecting because you could still get them fairly easy in the shops. And then even when they started bringing them back out, like and they were cheap, yeah, like cheap. I was like, this is great. Well, I'm going to just buy them again,
Yeah,
just because they're cheap. Like great fun.
very much, very much fun. And next, ooh, Beachcomber. Um, I love a Beachcomber, and they brought him out in. Oh, was it Power of the Primes? I think it was Power of the Primes.
I think it was Power of the Primes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's see.
yeah, Power of the Primes.
Um, again, I picked this up at the first TF Nation I went to, which must have been 2017, 2018, maybe 2018 actually. Um, yeah, he's everything I wanted in a updated version of Beachcomber. Beachcomber was a figure I had when I was a kid. He's just he's lovely.
Yes, and like you say, he's a very good fun update of the G1 toy, which
Yeah,
wasn't always the case at this time. There was still
no,
toys that were kind of reinterpretations,
yeah,
but the mini bots they did at this point, because Sea Spray's around at this point
yeah.
as well, very, very good toys, very good
Cosmos as
toys.
well was also very good.
Cosmos, yes, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but also with Beachcomber, he could fit a Titan Master inside
Yes.
him,
Yeah,
which is
again,
the whole
play factor for kids, just so clever.
exactly,
You can get
exactly.
your wee small ones that then can fit into the bigger ones. That's
Yeah,
brilliant. Very
I
clever line.
I almost picked Wheelie, but then I didn't. Um, but yeah, he just looks like Beachcomber. He's got his sunglasses. You can just imagine him riding through the dunes off into the sunset. And yeah, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Next. Oh, look, it's Overlord.
Oh, is anybody shocked that I picked on Overlord?
No.
Probably not. Eh, I have two versions of the Hasbro and I have the Takara one because I love it. I think it's a great fun toy. I got my first version in America, in Florida, when I was over in Disney, and I was like so excited. So I bought it in the Transformers shop. I paid over the odds. This is a bit when everybody talks about the Transformers shop in London. I'm like, but there's one in America. There's one in Universal. So anyway, I paid over the odds because it was in Universal. That it kind of made it more special. I thought if I'm going to buy a toy from here, I'm going to buy something really good. The stupid bit is that then you get it in B&M for like 15 quid or whatever it was. So I did buy a second so I could have both. And then I eventually bought it to Cara. I really enjoy it. I think it's a really fun toy. Um, the only negative being that it doesn't come with two breastmasters, but um, that's only a slight bit. I got the upgrade kit you could get, so you could kind of look like you had the two breastmasters. But it's a great fun toy, and the repaint. I don't know which one was first. I don't know which one's the repo, but the Sky Shadow is also a great fun toy.
Sky Shadow is awesome. Yeah,
Great toy. I really enjoy it.
yeah. I picked up Sky Shadow when he was on the sale in the Entertainer for like a tenner.
Crazy. Like, remember, like, Thrilling Theatre boys jumped in at that point. These jumped in. Like, that the three of that class, that size class, him, Sky Shadow, and Six Shot, all three are absolutely fantastic. And I bought extras of each of the three of them because I just thought these are stupidly good prices. Like,
Hmm.
I don't need an extra one, but I'm going to buy an extra one just because they are really, really good.
Yeah. Um, we might even be on to my last one.
Yeah, we are. Your last
Ooh.
donker that
Um,
did not realize was in this line, and I'm very jealous you picked it because it's a great choice.
so, Power of the Primes, the last part of the trilogy, which we haven't really touched upon too much. It had some absolutely cracking figures. There's another one that my top three, my sorry, honorable mentions was the Power of the Primes Optimus Prime that had Orion packs that combined with it to make it in almost
Oh, I've never
um,
had that. I've never had that. I have
so good.
pre-ordered stock of the reissue of it.
Mm,
So random, like pure random reissue. So I've ordered stock of it so I can have one because I always
that's
wanted one,
some
and I
really,
just
really good
never.
figure.
I never wanted one at a time, but as soon as it was off the shelves, I went, "Oh, I want that."
Mm. I remember buying it at John Lewis um, with my dad, who was very scathing of me spending all my money on Optimus Primes. Anyway, he's cool with it now. He's actually helping me build the Partworks one, not the Agora one, the other one,
Oh,
which is nice. Anyway, Optimal Optimus, who is weirdly one of my favorite forms of Optimus Prime. I just love this derpy monkey robot
yeah.
doof. It's so amazingly stupid in all of its forms. I've got an entire shelf behind me full of various versions of Optimal Optimus. I think I've got most, if not all, different versions of him. And he's so good. And the fact he came with the normal Beast Wars Optimus Primal as part of the figure, which the whole thing was you had two figures that combined to make one big figure in this line. And with Optimus Prime, the Orion packs formed the chest, a bit like Powermaster Prime,
Yeah.
to sort of fill him up. But unfortunately, Optimal Optimus just wore Optimus
Yeah.
Primal as a backpack. I
Weird.
think there's like one bit that sort of popped in to become his head, perhaps. But yeah, it's a great figure. It has some funky modes, even as his surfboard. It's so good. And then he was repainted as uh, the Throne of the Primes box set. So he had the black coloring, and he had the scepter of the Primes, where you could plug the Prime Masters in, and he had that sort of thing at the back of the throne where you could plug all the Primes in. Ah, that was fun. Yeah, and I think that actually brings us to the end of our little slideshow of
No,
fun.
I'll get mine.
Oh, have you
My
got
last
your?
one. Yeah. And
Oh, yeah.
again, it's another stock.
Sorry, I
Uh,
thought you were
and
first.
it is Power of the Prime Predator King. Again, another fantastic combiner. It has you could see the evolution of the combiners through Combiner Wars. You know, your pick of the Technobots was probably the
Mm,
best of the Combiner Wars ones. They'd learned and learned and learned. I think this is the best combiner that Hasbro have produced.
mhm.
In terms of stability, how it moves, it feels like a solid one figure when it's
Yeah,
combined. Combiner Wars didn't really do that. Devastator did. Like Devastator had that feel. This does it better than Devastator. Much more articulated, much better. It's big, it's imposing, and it's Prairie King. Like, do I need to say anything else about it?
He is absolutely a stunning figure. I got him at TFN, and as a mate lent me the money to get him because I'd spent all my money on other toys, and I just remember walking around TFN just cuddling it, the box, because I was so happy to get it. I've sold it now, obviously, but I was happy at the time.
Cool.
But he's amazing. The only thing I will say about this figure, as absolutely amazing as it is, the KO version that came out reasonably quickly after it, um, which just slightly improved it in a few
Yeah.
places. The quality wasn't there, but it did improve it in a couple of places. A couple of the joints were slightly better, a couple of the transformations were slightly better, and most significantly, it had much better wings because those wings are a
That's the
little bit
weakest bit of the original release.
disappointing. Yeah,
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 I agree.
um, yeah. So that's that.
Yeah.
Now we're done. um, Right. Anything else you want to say on this wonderful, wonderful trilogy?
No, it really was like each year had its own special bit, and every year made me more excited for collecting Transformers. And listen, we're going to get into. I think the War for Cybertron stuff has similar vibes, and Legacy certainly has had that. But this was the point where it was obviously it was as we talked about each year had its own kind of gimmick, and everything falls into that gimmick. And that you look back and go, that seems a bit crazy. But for the most part, it worked.
Mhm.
And we got to get updated combiners, updated headmasters. Some of the Titans, you got some amazing Titans coming out at this time as well. Like it genuinely was a great time to be alive, and
Mm.
it was start of us getting proper, decent, accurate kind of modern representations of the toys and characters we loved.
Yeah.
Seen, we've seen the evolution of the way the transformations work and stuff through to now. There's stuff that you can see in Legacy absolutely was through some of the stuff in these years. So a great time period.
Yeah. No. So absolutely, absolutely cracking stuff in this era. And as you say, it's the last time really that you had so much gimmicks. Because the last few years, they've had themed year releases, but there haven't been headmasters or target masters or whatever. They might have had those within the
Yeah,
lines,
yeah,
but not as the focal point. So not everybody was a combiner, not everybody was a headmaster. Which I suppose they have done it recently. So what other gimmicks would they have done? Pretenders, proper pretenders. Give me pretenders and
I
action
agree.
masters.
Not so much action matches. That's reaction figures. Just go by reaction figures.
Yeah, but I want them to all have stupid combining weird
I would like Pretenders.
crocodiles.
If we were doing
Yeah,
that,
pretenders.
I'd like us to go, that as I said, talked about the Prime Masters. I thought they were really good fun. I'd like proper Pretenders now, but
Yeah,
I don't think
yeah.
it'll happen. But no, that's been great fun. Thank you so much.
No worries. Right. Okay. So that was probably a bit long. Maybe I'll cut this in half and we'll have two episodes. Who knows? Well, I mean, you'll know because you'll be watching it
You'll
and
be
we'll just
listening.
have part two. Or, yeah, listen. See how long this ends up being. But once again, thank you so, so much for coming along with us and watching or listening to us prattle on for hours on end. And I'm very proud of us to keep that down to reasonably tight. I don't know how long that's going to have lasted, but not as tight as I would have wanted, I'd imagine. But yeah, it's been so much fun doing these. And again, at the end of the day, I don't care if nobody watches them. It's been a fun little journey between us anyway.
It
Uh,
has. It has.
so yeah, join us next week, hopefully, if we can cram some episode filming in before the madness that is Christmas week. We'll have one more episode for both of the next two trilogies, And then we are finally done with this, and then we have next year's fun plans to look forward to. So
Yeah,
anyway,
I can't believe we're almost at the end. The 40th anniversary is nearly done. We're nearly at the end of this. It'll be good to have a reflection at the end of just the what this year has been in terms of, this has been a highlight of my 40th anniversary. So, no, thank you so much, and I look forward to the next one.
yeah, I think I can actually do a top 10 Optimus Primes of this year.
And
There
it,
will
and you're
be
and it's not as if you're just picking the 10 primes.
no,
That
no. I think I would have to actually think about it a little bit. Anyway, right. Thank you very much for watching and or listening, and we will see you next week. Bye, Mr. Morph.
Bye, mate.
Bye.